Hello, folks. It's Heather Reed here. I am so excited to be live and with you today. My pronouns are she, her. I'm coming in from London, Ontario, and I couldn't be more excited that so many of you have chosen to join me live. And for those that are going to watch on replay, my mission for doing these monthly live events is really simple. I want to empower event professionals to negotiate balanced event contracts. Future episodes are going to be packed with no holds barred discussions, actionable takeaways, and current day issues that you as an event professional and event planner can apply to your daily work. And to that point, let's put you to work if you would. I would love for you to help inform and shape future episodes. If you are willing, could you share your number one pain point when you're negotiating event contracts? Because with these comments, we want to create monthly discussions that are a bold and relevant tool to explore, teach, and expose the complexities of event contracts. So I appreciate your help with that. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, I need to highlight two essential items. First, I am a meeting planner, not just a meeting planner. I am a meeting planner. I am not legal counsel, though. I in no way will be providing or suggesting legal advice. I can't, and I won't. And the second item is it is our desire to be as accessible to all viewers as possible. So the replays are going to be available here on LinkedIn and on YouTube. We will provide a transcript with each episode. Any viewers can click on the CC button on the lower right corner of a video player for live captioning. We will be describing visuals with words. So for me today, I am in my home office. I am wall-to-wall, bookcases behind me. I'm wearing a navy blue blouse. I'm a white 60-year-old female with signature red lips and red glasses. So we will be using alt text in our marketing and social media, and we aim to provide high quality and clarity in our audio and technology. And we are also going to depend on you, our valued listeners, to let us know when and where we can improve. Your feedback is going to be so important as we move forward. So for this very first episode, I am going to flip the script and put myself in the hot seat. I want to call upon Sue Sutcliffe, who is our team's digital marketing and technology concierge, to come from behind the scenes, Sue, and to join me in this chat today. So hello, Sue.
Hello, and hello, everyone out there in the audience. Very happy to be here today. I am a 60-year-old white female in a room I wish was mine, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Heather.
Super.
So I have a bunch of questions for you, Heather. First of all, okay. How did you become interested in event contracts?
So I'm going to date myself, but the very first event contract that I received was faxed to me in 1994, and it was 24 pages long, and it scared the out of me. I was hired as an association administrator and was responsible for their association operations, but also their national conference. And immediately I felt incredibly responsible for knowing what everything was in those 24 pages. And so I knew that that volunteer board was looking to me to protect their finances, to protect the logistics of the event that they were hosting, to protect their reputation that they had worked so hard to build. And so that one contract really, truly just jump-started my journey to learn everything I possibly could about event contracts.
And how did you go about building that expertise?
Well, I started before Google, which is sad to say because it was launched in 96. So Here in London, Ontario, I reached out to legal counsel here in London, Ontario. And as a small business owner, I paid for my own professional development. I sat with lawyers and I had them go through the contracts with me. And it took me a long time big investment, but I learned that way. So I invested in legal counsel. I consumed articles and textbooks. I attended live events where there was even just one session on event contracts. And back in COVID, I actually decided in the downtime to go back to school, and I did a 2-year into 1-year condensed paralegal studies and graduated from that program because I really wanted to learn more about the fundamentals and how I can help other planners explain what I knew. And now 30 years later, I am still reading every single article. I try to hit every single virtual event that is held. I try to make it as many live events. So it's still an ongoing passion for me to learn about event contracts. They're changing all the time.
You must work with a lot of clients on contract reviews. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, for the first 20 years, I was focused only on my own clients. In a good year, I had 10 national clients, association clients. So I was doing board meeting contracts. I was doing, regional workshops, and I was doing national association conferences. But in 2012, I actually overheard a planner that I just adore say, I didn't know you could negotiate force majeure. And I'm like, what? How could that be true? And so I started to really pay attention to say, well, maybe what I love to do, I could offer to others to support them and to help inform their professional practice. And so 11 years ago in 2013, I formed Planner Protect. And since that time, I've been blessed to work with both Canadian and American clients, national and regional associations, corporate clients, tech, financial services. I support a few large incentive planning agencies, and I am part of the workflow, if you will, for a couple of large third-party planning agencies. So to date, I've worked with about 80 different clients, and I've done over 400 contract reviews.
Wow. And what's your biggest takeaways?
Well, I thought about this one, Sue, because it's a great question. And how long do you have? Because there's lots of takeaways. Planners today, more than any time in my 30 years, need to be as savvy and laser focused and empowered to negotiate. Being able to understand, being able to negotiate strategically, being able to achieve balanced event contracts takes specific knowledge that I believe is acquired outside of today's post-secondary programs. So contract negotiation skills, contract law are not being taught in post-secondary programs. And yet the contracts are fundamental to every aspect of what we do in our industry. We start with venues, we move through speakers, decor, registration services, audiovisual services, catering, like everything is founded on a contract. And yet the fundamentals are not readily available to be taught or to be reminded. And so that's one. So negotiating balanced event contracts requires a certain level of confidence, if you will, and an empowerment to actually engage in negotiations. Saying like, I didn't know you could do something, or feeling like it's a little uncomfortable to be able to push back, respectfully, of course. We need to move beyond rates, dates, and space, and it's far beyond concessions. And I think that what I see is that when planners know and are open and being taught, they are far more confident, and they're demonstrating that event contract knowledge is one of their professional core competencies. And that's ultimately what my whole reason for existing in Planner Protect is, to share my passion and download onto other event professionals what will enhance their knowledge and their negotiation skills. So,
so you must
did
have
that answer
saved.
it?
Yeah, it totally does. It totally does. And I'm curious, how much money have you saved clients to date? I mean, that's huge, your expertise. So
It is. When I first started Planner Protect, I was encouraged by a colleague to keep track of, quote, actual savings, monetary savings, and avoided risks. So things like lessening cancellation damages or lessening attrition damages. And so I'm proud to say that I've tracked over 10 million in actual savings and avoided risk. But it's actually not a number that I focus too much on anymore, because to me, what I'm tracking now is how many professionals can I impact and can I improve their professional practice with sharing and teaching what I know. So yes, the savings for a solo entrepreneur, I'm proud of, but it's not something I track so much anymore.
it's kind of hard when your business gets established and everything like that, right? Tell me, is there any common things? Like, what would you wish that every event planner knew about supplier contracts?
Well, I think first and foremost, and it seems obvious, but supplier contracts are written by legal counsel with the sole intent of protecting the supplier. And everything contained in that draft contract needs to be vetted with knowledge. It needs to be massaged and negotiated to bring it back more towards protecting both parties. It's not the supplier's responsibility or job to provide us with a contract that is balanced. Those are our requirements, and our needs is to protect our client or our employer by really knowing how and where and what to negotiate in those contracts. And so legal counsel is absolutely essential. If there's one thing that you planners should advocate for in their budgets, event budgets, it's legal counsel support. And alongside of that, I really believe that event planners should be able to interpret what the legalese is. I love the saying by Albert Einstein that said, if you can't explain something in simple terms, you don't understand it well enough. And so that to me is the key. Can you take a term like indemnification or attrition or the difference between termination and cancellation? And can you explain those in lay terms to your client or to your employer so that you know exactly what the implications are, how you can negotiate those terms, and what ideal outcomes you want from the negotiations. So I think that is, truly what I want event planners to know, is that we have a huge responsibility to make those contracts balanced, for lack of a better word, to be more even, to share the risk and the reward with the suppliers, because they come to us in a format that is not balanced.
It makes sense, because the lawyer's going to write it for the people that are paying for it, right? So that makes
Absolutely.
a lot of sense. Yeah, most definitely. And why do you call this series Event Contracts Exposed?
Well, we went through a lot of iterations, event contract confidence, event contract corner, like there were all sorts of them. And then, the good old ChatGPT came up with event contracts exposed. And it hit me. I want something that's bold and that is sticky. I want to use the word exposed so that it focuses our team here at Planner Protect on creating and curating discussions that uncover the complexities of event contracts. I don't think we as an industry give enough respect to the impact of a really good contract. I think we know now through COVID the implications of a bad contract, ones that weren't so equally written. So then the other thing from exposed is it means transparency and a no holds barred approach. And with this virtual event, I want to affect and I want to empower professionals who are responsible for negotiating and managing event contracts. But on the flip side, when I think about exposed, what I will never entertain it being is a bashing or a maligning of our partners. That professionally has never, ever been part of my approach or my philosophy. Our industry is dependent on relationships, on collaboration, on partnerships, and we need those. We want them, and we must count on them. And so to me, it would be doing all of us a disservice if this was used as, a bashing or a, negative forum. This is meant to be one that builds up all of our professional knowledge and our expertise, and so that we come to the table prepared to negotiate good contracts.
That's amazing. I would never even have a thought about renegotiating a contract. So that's really interesting. We have some questions, Heather, in the comments. Okay. So one from Joan here. Please do enter your questions.
My favorite person, Joan. Yeah. Thank you. Does Canada have laws like the U.S. for litigation and arbitration to resolve disputes? So I'm not legal counsel, but my understanding as a layperson is that yes, there are laws here in Canada that encourage ones to use the process of arbitration and mediation to resolve conflict. One of the things I'm seeing increasingly is that contract disputes can only be solved in mediation or arbitration. And that's a great discussion for a topic, Joan. But, there's pros and cons to that. So yes, they do exist. And again, that's part of the learning of where am I geographically, what applies, what's the law of jurisdiction, and then where am I doing the event, because there might be a different jurisdiction of law that will apply. So great question, Joan.
And another one from Sharon. She feels exactly how I do.
So contracts seem overwhelming and written with language that I don't understand entirely. And I get it. The language is, I think, intended to shroud some of the meaning. And it's legal terms. And that's the thing, is that contracts are legal documents. And as soon as there are the elements required to make a binding contract, that terminology is included and it has legal definition. And so it's on us to understand, what am I putting my client or my employer, what am I committing them to? And if I don't understand what, is required, or what is implied, or, what is the responsibility, then that's where it gets confusing. And so legal planners, in my opinion, should be able to rhyme off what is indemnification, what is termination, what is the difference then between cancellation, insurance. Like, there's so many pieces of the contract. We don't need to know how to write language, because that's not our domain or our expertise, but we need to know how to drill down. And that's how I teach, I believe, is I've taken clauses that have been recommended by legal counsel, by our hospitality attorneys, as being appropriate or useful, and kind of reverse engineered them. So what are the questions that I need to ask to get to better language in my negotiations? I just remembered many, many years ago, I was sitting with what was then a Starwood sales representative, and he dropped the thing that he said, well, there's 16 pages of attrition clauses. And I'm like, what? What do you mean 16 pages? So my whole thing is, why would we ever accept the very first draft version when already there are so many other versions that may be far more appropriate for your situation, that event, your client, their threshold for risk, etc. Why would we accept just what we're given? We need to hone in, drive down, and get to the best language for each specific event. So.
And we have another question from Sharon.
Okay, Sharon, I love you. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a new planner entering the field of event planning where they need to be responsible for booking venues? Don't be afraid to say, I don't know, and say, I'm going to go find out and I'll get back to you. There is no shame in saying, I don't know. You are better off to admit a lack of knowledge than to bullshit or appear to know and then be caught in a uncomfortable situation. But on the flip side of that, what I'm going to say is one of the lines that I've heard over and over again is that, unfortunately, I don't know is not a legal defense. So truly, you can claim I don't know, and you go away and do your homework and verse yourself. But at the end of the day, we are expected as event professionals to know, to understand, to be able to discuss, to be able to negotiate, and to work with our legal counsel to acquire good language for our clients and our employers. So I would say, I don't know. Okay. What are the most common areas of misunderstanding or conflict that arise in event contracts? And how can we proactively address these during the contract negotiation phase? Thanks, Phil. Great question. Let me just digest that for a second. Most common areas of misunderstanding or conflict. One of the ones that comes top to mind, and I love spontaneous questions, so I love you putting me through the rigor here. One of the things is that I've been in the industry long enough to know that we may expect the world, but yet not have a piece of business that is fitting of the world. I know that there are, in some cases, concessions that are, pages long, and yet they don't fit the business that we are bringing to the property or to the vendor or supplier. And so I think that is where some friction exists, is that, really we have to be completely open and honest about what our piece of business is worth, and really prioritize what we want after we prioritize what we need. And so I think I hope that answers your question, because to me, it's expectations meeting reality. And post-COVID, those are clashing even more. Our partners were incredibly hurt and damaged, as were our events. No getting around it. But we have to find what makes sense now. And it may not just be, a matter of, sending off a list of concessions that really don't fit our piece of business. So I hope that answers that, Phil.
And we have another one here from, let me see here. Okay, so we are set for questions unless there's some more that want to do. I have a question. How do we get a hold of you, Heather? I'm one of those people that you described that would rather have a root canal than look at a contract. So how can you help us?
Well, you know what? First of all, I'm going to say, Sue, that I could hope that, we all work in our areas of genius, and mine I love contracts and I love everything about it. However, I don't think it's realistic that we all just get to work in that. I think planners are asked to do so much. And so, you need to learn about contracts, in my opinion, enough to be able to, take the first round or whatever. So you can reach me here on this virtual event next month. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Heather E. Reid, R-E-I-D. I have a company page, Planner Protect. And my email is simple. It's heather@plannerprotect.ca. And so I see that we're coming to the top of our time there, Sue. I just want to bring it home if I could. And so we are really mindful of people's time. So Thank you, Sue, for being on for coming from behind the scenes to support me today. You have no idea what our partnership means to me. Thank you for that. And thank you for the viewers that are live and the viewers that will watch a replay. I hope that they will. I hope you will take away some excitement in what we are looking to create here at Plan or Protect. I really, truly want this to be a forum where we can have good, solid, open discussions, maybe prickly, maybe, a little thought-provoking, but at the end of the day, really advancing everyone's practice as an event planner. Let me know in the comments if you have ideas for future episodes. I know you helped me out with the number one pain point. That will certainly help inform how we move forward. I would love if you would like, share, repost Plan or Protect information or my posts about this. I'd be so grateful. And then finally, and I'm so excited about my first true guest next month, November 13th at 2:30 Eastern Time here on LinkedIn, where I will have the immense honor to spend time with the one and only industry event contract guru and industry icon, Joan Eisenstadt. Joan is a hospitality and meeting industry consultant and trainer, a hospitality expert witness, and I'm blessed to say, for me, she's a mentor, a confidant, and a colleague. So with that, I close. Thank you so much for showing up here in the comments, and knowing that you're here just thrills me. I look forward to engaging in the months ahead. Bye for now, folks, and happy contracting.